I bet you didn't expect this coming. One retrograde is enough chaos, but there's two. The universe isn't playing fair this month. Venus retrograde kicked in on March 1st, and now Mercury is about to follow on the 15th. This is the universe pressing pause, rewind, and play all at once, and you're about to experience it in unprecedented ways. And for those born during a particular period, this retrograde's impact will be especially intense. If that's you, you'll want to know what's coming. We'll dive into that shortly, so stick around. But before we go there, let's address something crucial that most people overlook about retrogrades. Because contrary to popular belief, it's not just about things moving backward. This is far more significant than that. While many associate retrogrades with mishaps, delayed plans, and unexpected blasts from the past, that's merely scratching the surface. This double retrograde isn't simply reversing events, it's completely reimagining them. Venus retrograde has already begun reshaping our perspective on love, desire, and self-worth, and now Mercury's arrival will add communication chaos and cosmic surprises to the mix. And here's where things take an intriguing turn. March 15th. That's when Mercury retrograde begins, but there's another significant event occurring on this date, something so crucial that it often goes unnoticed. This isn't your typical retrograde. Stay tuned, because what's really happening on March 15th will leave you astounded. March 15th carries a historical weight of deception, disorder, and unexpected turns. It's historically known as the Ides of March. And now, generations later, the universe is channeling that same energy. But this time, the betrayal manifests in your digital communications, personal connections, and within your own thoughts. Here's the reality. Mercury retrograde commencing on this notorious date means one thing: prepare for unprecedented levels of miscommunication. Messages will be misinterpreted, dialogues will go awry, and carefully crafted agreements will crumble over minor verbal missteps. Suspicion will be rampant, and paranoia will permeate the atmosphere like an invisible force. And here's the challenging part. It's not just others who might misinterpret things. You could be susceptible to illusions too. Sometimes, the most significant deceptions don't come from external sources, but from our own minds, leading us to believe things that aren't real. But here's the hidden advantage nobody discusses. If you understand how to navigate this energy, you can turn the retrograde to your benefit. The same force that generates confusion also enhances intuitive abilities. By choosing observation over reaction, you'll develop the ability to distinguish reality from distortion. While others get caught in the web of misunderstandings and conflict, you'll be several steps ahead, detecting the universal signals hidden within the chaos. And believe me, those signals will be present. But that's not where the strangeness ends. This goes beyond mental confusion. There's a deeper emotional transformation taking place. In the coming weeks, you'll experience something unusual with your emotions, and they might not even originate from you. Have you ever entered a space and instantly been hit with feelings of anxiety, sadness, or excitement before anyone spoke? Now amplify that sensation by 100. During this period, you'll become so attuned to others' emotions that you might mistake them for your own. You might suddenly feel overwhelmed by unexplained sadness or experience random anxiety, only to discover later that someone close to you was struggling at that exact moment. It's as if your emotional boundaries are dissolving, transforming you from an individual into a receiver for collective emotions. You won't just hear words, you'll feel their underlying meaning. And this can be overwhelming. Imagine carrying not only your personal stress, but also absorbing the emotional weight of friends, family, and even passing strangers. Empaths will experience this most intensely. You might find yourself laughing more intensely, crying unexpectedly, or feeling unusually drained after social interactions. However, there's a silver lining. This heightened sensitivity is actually a gift. Once you recognize what's happening, you can harness this emotional connection. You'll develop an uncanny ability to read people. You'll understand the underlying currents beneath surface-level interactions, even in silence, While people might deceive with words, their energy never lies. So while many will struggle with this emotional intensity, you can use it as an opportunity to develop universal empathy. You'll gain unprecedented insight into human nature. Just remember, without proper boundaries, this energy can quickly become depleting. Speaking of unusual energies, what if I told you this extends beyond emotions? During this retrograde, something else is reaching out, something non-human. Some will see it, others will hear it, and many will simply sense a presence. Reality seems to thin out at times, as if something lurks just beyond our normal perception, just outside our auditory range. When Venus and Mercury retrograde simultaneously, these dimensional boundaries begin to blur. Perhaps you've already noticed an unexplained whisper, an uncanny feeling of being observed. Yet when you investigate, nothing appears. Shadows move unnaturally, shifting in your peripheral vision. Initially, you might dismiss it as imagination, but the more you try to ignore it, the more persistent it becomes. Importantly, not all these presences are malevolent. Some are merely passing through, attracted by the energetic fluctuations. Some might even be attempting to communicate, leaving subtle clues leading to important insights. However, if something feels wrong, if the atmosphere suddenly changes and you feel drained or uneasy, as if something's uncomfortably close, that's when caution is necessary. Because the more you acknowledge these energies, the more they become aware of you. And here's the most fascinating part. This goes beyond visual or auditory phenomena. These energies are breaking conventional rules, affecting our perception in unexpected ways. Normally, our senses operate independently. Vision for eyes, sound for ears, taste for tongue. But currently, these sensory boundaries are becoming fluid. Perhaps you've experienced it. Music that doesn't just sound beautiful, but manifests as visual colors in your mind. Memories so vivid they seem to have taste. Emotions that manifest physically as pressure, heat, or texture. This isn't random. It's called synesthesia, typically a congenital condition. But during these overlapping retrogrades, people are experiencing it spontaneously. It's as if reality itself is glitching, rewiring our sensory processing. Whether it's planetary influence or something deeper awakening within us, forcing us to tune into typically ignored frequencies. If reality itself is being reshaped, what else might the universe be revealing? Many view retrogrades as temporary disruptions, brief periods of confusion before normalcy returns. But if you felt off-kilter even before March began, that's not coincidental. Retrogrades don't simply appear and disappear. They cast shadows before their official start and leave lingering effects after their conclusion. We're currently deep in that shadow period. But here's the interesting part. This shadow period isn't just a warning. It's a test. Certain patterns are re-emerging because the universe is observing. This energy doesn't dissipate immediately when Mercury goes direct. People mistakenly believe everything normalizes when a retrograde ends. That's incorrect. The energy gradually unwinds, creating aftereffects that can last weeks or months. So even after Mercury straightens its course, you'll continue feeling the impact of current events. This explains why people experiencing feelings of loss, stagnation, or emotional heaviness before March 1st were already under Venus's shadow influence. It began before the official retrograde, subtly drawing people back to old relationship wounds, past desires, and former versions of themselves. Mercury is about to do the same with your thoughts, communication, and reality perception. If you're expecting sudden clarity one morning, think again. The only way through this energy is to fully experience it. You're being called to recognize ignored patterns, break harmful habits, and finally acknowledge the underlying currents in your life. For some, this realization will be particularly impactful. Because here's the truth. This energy affects everyone differently. For some, it's a minor disruption, but for others, this retrograde will be transformative. And if you were born during certain periods, prepare yourself for intense experiences. Remember when I mentioned specific birth dates needing special attention? This explains why retrogrades impact people differently. For some, it's merely inconvenient, causing delays, miscommunications, and minor obstacles. For others, it's a complete cosmic upheaval. The difference lies in your birth chart. Those with strong Taurus, Libra, Gemini, or Virgo placements aren't just experiencing this retrograde. They're living it intensely. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Currently, both planets are in retrograde rebellion. If you've stayed with me this far, I appreciate your attention. If you found value in this content and want more similar insights, please consider subscribing. Your support means a lot. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments section below. Until we meet again, take care and don't forget to subscribe for more enlightening content.